basically I want to go over kind of the mechanics of the braking mechanics of the heel hook. I also want to talk about, there's a lot of people are a little confused about your own leg position or foot position when you're getting into the inside sankaku. The regular ashigarami is obvious, right? Actually, there's two positions for the ashigarami. There's this one when you're doing a heel hook I'm talking about. There's this one right here. You capture that, and you know, going here. There's also once you got the heel hook for the ashigarami, outside ashigarami is actually more powerful because you can put pressure. Okay, so you see what I'm doing here? I'm securing the heel and I'm securing the toes here, and I'm putting pressure kind of like this right here. And in addition, I'm hipping into it. All right. So watch my heels right here. So I'm pulling his butt into me, and I'm pushing out. I'm bridging. Okay. So remember that concept. All right. Here, when I'm like this, it's still, I can still do it, but I don't have that pulling effect, and it's harder to bridge. You guys understand? It's like trying to do a bridge with 1 foot. You can do it, but it's more powerful with 2 feet. All right. So same concept here. So I'm going to back step into the ashigarami, and let's forget about this for now. Okay. If you get it, that's fine. But I get to this position and I move in here, and let's turn. Yeah, right here. And then back up just a little. Okay, good. Right here. All right. See his leg position. Hip, knee, foot. All right. I typically want when I put his knee in a bad position, I want his knee outside of his foot hip line. Okay. If it's in here like this, all right, it's hard to access his heel. In fact, this is how people defend it anyways, right? They try to bring their knee inside. So I want it outside like this. And I want it bent a little bit there, okay? Now, when I'm my body position, I don't want to be lying like this over here, facing the outside necessarily, okay? Because it's too easy for him to just step right over the top. Yeah, and I'm going to start having to scramble. So really, what I want to do is either be in here like so, like almost going shoulder down, belly down, whatever. Or if I'm this way, right, I want to be not over here. I want to be upright like this. Okay, and you can see his knee is still outside of that line right there. Right? Does that make sense? So I might end up in this position right here. Right? If you end up here, see what I'm doing with my knee? I'm keeping him away because he wants to come up and grab my hands. I start messing around, so I can use my knee here to push him back. Okay, I'll take care of this in a second. With my feet, there's a couple things you can do with your feet. If you have long enough legs, you can triangle that and circle it around here. What I typically prefer to do, because my legs are shorter, is I put my foot on top of this foot right here, and I push. I kind of push, and I can also at the same time squeeze my knees together, and I'm pushing, keeping him away from me. All right. I'm gonna take this arm, expose his heel. All right. Lift. Get here, and look what I'm doing now. See how I'm going almost facing the floor right here, and he can feel. Yeah. Did you see that? I'm not really doing anything. I'm just moving. I'm pushing. All right. And I gable grip my hands together like this. And I bring my head close to his foot, and I'm going here. All right. So basically, I'm trying to slide. Not really slide. If you're going to do this in real life, you want to hop your elbow underneath you. So you're going to be laying on top of his foot. His heel is coming upwards, right? His foot's going there, and to finish the grand finale is you hip into it, and then you hear loud noises, okay? So we get to this position right here. See how I'm blocking? I do the same thing when I'm going for that, that ankle lock, right? I get the ashigarami, and I'm just laying here like this, shoving his ankle underneath me, and I go for that ankle lock like that. It's not going nowhere. I'm not even touching it with my hands, but I'm just blocking it with my elbow. Same thing here. I'm just blocking it with my elbow, and actually put your foot on the ground. Yeah, because sometimes people will do that because they want to turn their heel inside like that to block it, right? So I just hang out for a second here, and if he's trying to hide it, I will turn it out like this, slide it under, and then start coming back here. Okay, so you see the pressure I'm trying to put on his upper leg here? Okay. Gable grip your hand, and actually this is not optimal right here. See all that space right there? I want to be here. Okay, and slide. Okay, I'm going to do this slow now. I'm going to slide my elbow underneath me. All right, grab that, hip into it, bring yourself close, and you're going to do a side crunch like this. That's the reason I'm doing this little hop here, because I want to do a side crunch. And you know, his foot's like that, and putting pressure here with my bottom foot on this foot, and I'm hipping into it like that. Okay, that's one. All right, and when you're here like this, you typically want to try to like squeeze his upper leg here. Okay, now there's and I'll do this all. We'll take care of all this all in one shot here. Now a lot of times what'll happen is whether you force it to get the heel or not. Let's move back just a little bit. Whether you force it this way or you just end up that way, but sometimes you'll end up in this position, okay, which is very common too. All right, so now in this situation, go ahead and step over. Did you see his hip go up in the air? It carried my foot up in the air, right? I'll go back. So in order for him to get over, do it really slow again. Look at my foot going up in the air. His hip is going up in the air. So what you want to try to do is, again, you can stomp on your foot, or you can triangle it if you want. But again, for me, I usually try to step on my own foot, and I flare my knee and pin his hip to the ground. Okay, so let's say I got the heel over here, I'm laying on the ground. Okay, I'll try to do it. Go ahead and step over. He can't. And it's just because I'm putting all my weight on his, but on the other side, it's like his groin right here, this area right here. I'm pressing down because if somebody's got my foot in there, look, I need my hands, right? I can't just spin like this because there's too much junk blocking me. I need to get up like this, up, and step over, right? Did you see my hip come off the ground? I can't do it like this, okay? That's the concept. That's one way you keep that leg in here and you keep their hip pinned to the ground. So we're here like this, and my back is more flat to the ground at this point, right? So I'm gonna step on my own foot, flare my knee to the ground, you know, same grip here, right? I'm gonna be going like this eventually, all right? And I'm pressing my foot to the ground, pressing my knee to the ground, and he wants to step over, and it's gonna be very difficult, okay? And grand finale, bridge into it, okay? So many things going on here. So I got the heel, I'm pulling the heel upward like this towards my face. I'm doing a side crunch, stepping on my foot, and forcing my knee to the ground. Okay? That's a lot to remember, but as you roll, you get somebody in a heel hook, you'll understand everything. You know, the more you do this, you'll understand if you start losing things. Okay, because you might become really good at getting into that position, But when you start finishing, I know, because this, this is kind of the path I took. It's easy to get in, not easy, but I find myself in these positions a lot. But as I'm trying to finish, there's a couple things that'll happen. They'll fight you. They'll grab your hands, right? Before they even start flopping around. They'll grab your hands, so you got a hand fight, secure the position, stay away from them, or keep them away from you. That's why I got this knee in here, right? The knee is keeping them away. See that? So that's the first thing you got to address, them messing with your own hands, to, so that you can't heel hook them, right? So you stay away, and that's why this is such a valuable way to do it. By being way over here, you're facing the ground. You can't even reach me from here, right? Everything is going on over here, all right? But once, and again, this is the path I took, once I was able to establish this, now I got to worry about him flying around all over the place. And the way people mostly got away from me is by doing the up and this, and then there goes the heel. Okay, so again, you'll see your progression, and you'll get stuck at a point. And I was stuck at this point here where I was able to establish the grip, but they kept spinning out of it. Okay, and it wasn't until I realized that they have to lift their hips up to step over that I understood how to control them better. It's still not, it's a great position, but there's still that possibility that they'll get up and turn around. You just have to control that a little better. Okay, but yeah, it's a very common way people lead out, but it's easily remedied. Right, so I step in, capture this. Okay. There's people do this sometimes, right? With their, I think Eddie Cummings does this here with his leg under his butt here, but I like to slide it in here. Just trying to say. I like to turn it here. Okay, see my heel, my elbow? I'm not messing around here, all right? Because I need my hands for other things. Okay, you get that. Now, I know he wants to step over. See? Okay, can you try to step over? Like, he can't get up. Right? Okay, you guys get the concept? I'm keeping him pressed down. I'm keeping his butt to the ground. He's not going to be able to turn over. Okay? What else can I tell you? You guys understand the mechanics of how I do this, right? Here. And see where my hip is? I go, right, almost like a knee bar sideways. Okay, that's very important. And another thing, it's a lot to remember, but this is all these things are very useful. Let's say before you establish that heel hook, before you get that bite on his heel, what does he want to do? He doesn't want to spin yet. There's no reason to, right? And it's kind of pointless. What he wants to do is turn that, and if he's even successful doing that, he'll turn and go that way and then just start kicking out and walk away from that, push away, right? So he wants to turn his foot, right? You guys ran into that when you're doing inside heel hooks like this? Look. Before he even gets a chance, if you get into this position, right? So we get here, grab his foot right away. Now go ahead and turn.
Unscrew my knee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's unadvisable, right? Once you get, I've used this as a submission. You just hold his foot, or you can do it like this, his toes, right? Not his foot. You hold his toes, right? You squeeze, and you hit into it like this. Okay, so again, look at that. It's right there. Okay, but to secure it, so let's say I get here, I hold on to his foot, right? Stuff it under and then I got the heel hook, all right? But get here, step in, hold it right away, all right? And I'm holding his hip down, and I'm holding this so he can't spin, all right? And then I just transition here, and then finish it, all right? So there's a lot of concepts in there, and there's even more smaller details that maybe I'll tell you just randomly. But these are the main things. When you've got that inside heel hook, you want to make sure you control the hip and use this control here. I prefer it. That's not to say this stuff is wrong here. If you got longer legs, it's okay. All right, so here, and look at it, the direction here. I'm like hipping in this way, right? And I'm back heeling. I'm pulling his butt towards me. It's kind of allowing me to bridge. I got this, and I go here. Okay, and that's if I'm like kind of almost belly down. I go here. I transition to this. I'm pushing down on his hip right there. Okay, to keep him on the ground. Okay, so those are two very important concepts. Probably the more important of the two is because most people end up here, right? Just step on your own foot and flare your knee so that it's pinning his hip to the ground, right? Try not to go this way because you'll carry him all the way over, which is what he actually wants to do. All right, so when you get in the heel hook, because I noticed that some of you guys were doing that already. So I step in, you go here, and you fall way over here like this. You don't want to be here, okay? Unless you're really squeezing tight, but you want to just come back here like that, okay? Any questions? All right, let's give it a try on 3. 1, 2, 3.